Hello and welcome to the 139th episode of the Gochuucast. And today, I guess we can get a little bit more back into some of the seasonals that have been coming out, because last week we did our 2024 nominations or whatever.
Mhm.
So there's been a little bit of a buffer period between,
Yeah, we got to get a few episodes in.
we got one episode in, maybe two, I don't remember. But I know we had like maybe three anime we talked about when we first started the season, but now there's a fair bit more. So
Yeah.
that's fun. I've watched at least one episode of everything outright, besides Doctor Stone, but I've read Doctor Stone, so it doesn't really matter. But otherwise, I've at least started all the shows I intend to.
Yeah, I've started. Well, actually, let me check this one.
I haven't started everything,
Started
but
3
I've
out of 4.
But yeah,
I've started probably a good chunk.
Yeah.
I guess I can get some of the ones out of the way that I know you all haven't watched. I'm trying to think what we covered last time. I know we covered Anime Girl House MD. We covered the Gooner Slop rom com, the class marriage one, and then I think I
Oh
talked.
yeah, yeah.
Did I talk about Momentary Lily? I think I did. I think I said
I
I
think
don't
so.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
definitely
did.
told us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch episode 2 yet, so I don't know any more about it. But I got spoiled on Twitter. It seems
Nice.
there's a very big development that I haven't watched yet, at least in
Oh,
terms of I
Spat, you
don't know
watched
how
it?
important it is, but
Sorry, I just saw your Annie list. Spat, you watched the whole thing already?
I was like already like halfway done. Like,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
yeah. I think I'd watched until like episode 11. So I started at like,
So you're about the same place I am.
yeah. I started at like episode 8 or something. Just so I could like refresh my memory on the last few episodes. But yeah. Yeah. I finished it. Anyway, we can continue with seasonals. We can do our stuff at the end. That's fine.
no, you're doing your stuff right now because you brought it up. Now it's happening.
Okay, PK has to go
I
first because his was like more dramatic.
I
Or like
got
we made it.
I got distracted because I saw that Spat finished summertime rendering. I didn't realize that you were partway through, so I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn!"
yeah. No. Um. Okay, I'll go first. Fuck it.
Sorry, I totally ADHD'd.
No, you're good. I mean, I was intending to talk about it. Because I finished something, you finished something. So, yeah, summertime rendering. I liked it. I think. Well, okay, I'll talk about what I liked. Um, I like time travel. I think it's sick. I mean, y'all know Steins Gate's like it is my favorite anime. And I just like think it's a cool concept. Um, and I think that they did it in a way that was kind of unique, I guess, kind of.
I mean, it's like
Like, yeah,
ReZero, but there's
Yeah,
more stakes. Well, I don't want to say more stakes. It's like same level of stakes, except his is more like
yeah,
urgent, I guess, because of the
yeah.
little
Because like,
additional
yeah,
factor to the looping.
yes, exactly. Right. There's like an extra twist that makes it. Yeah. So I thought that was good, and I thought, I mean, I love shows that keep you like kind of on the edge of your seat. You know, at the end of every episode, there's like kind of a cliffhanger. I thought most of the episodes did that pretty well. Like, I was pretty entertained throughout.
Did a
Um,
good job of having
yeah,
cliffhangers that didn't like piss me off though.
like piss you off, like
Like there are good cliffhangers and then there's annoying cliffhangers, right?
oh, okay.
And I don't know how to like verbally say the difference between them,
Hmm.
but at the same time, we've all experienced like good or bad
I hate the
cliffhangers.
ones where it's like it looks like something dramatic or bad's gonna happen, and the next episode it's like
It's walked
it's
back.
literally no. Yeah, it's not even not exactly walk back, but it's like the context revealed. It's like oh, never mind. Like I think if they were like watching a horror anime or something, and at the very end of an episode, a dark figure appears behind one of the characters, and they get scared, and then boom, episode over. You're like, ah, shit, maybe that's like the killer or whatever the fuck in this hypothetical. And then next episode, it's like, oh no, it's just their friend coming behind them and scaring them, just because they're on edge. It's like,
Yes.
oh well, that was worthless.
Yeah.
Yeah, I waited a week for that.
Yeah. I thought I did a good job of that. I think the only thing that I really didn't like about it, but that's just like kind of a personal thing, it's just like the power, like not the powers, but like I think as the show went on, like things got like a little bit more. I don't want to say convoluted, but it's like um, I don't know, complex in a way that I didn't appreciate. Like yeah, just like some of the powers that people had, there's like some of the restrictions on like some of the abilities. Like it's just like I didn't really like it. I thought it got like yeah, it just got complex in like a weird way that I didn't really enjoy or was able to appreciate.
To
That
the
was like
point
kind of my
I'm
main
at, I
complaint.
still
Yeah.
don't like totally understand the supernatural existences of
I was about
everything.
to start asking for details.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, PK's just not done yet. I can't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm about halfway through.
Because I
Yeah.
have like some things in mind, but yeah, PK's not to some of those yet at this
It's
point.
also been a while. So here's the thing. I'm planning to. So today I started Apothecary Diaries. I'm
Okay.
going to um grind through that, however long that takes me. Whether it ends up being it gets never finished or I finish it in a couple weeks. Um, I'm gonna go through that, and then after that, I'm probably going to do summertime rendering.
Okay. Yeah.
So assuming that I stay on like a healthy watch time for at least like the big things that I want to finish, because that's kind of like so the other thing I did, this what Spat was saying was a bigger
Yeah.
deal than him finishing summertime rendering was I finally watched the second core of Freerun.
Woo!
But I
We
want
did
to
it.
at least I may or may not make like decent chunk into my anime list, but I want to at least finish the stuff that's like the really good content or things that I'm invested in.
Mhm.
Like I might not look at something like getting back into free, for example, for a while, even though I want to do it. But I definitely want to at least watch the things that I have had on my list for a long time that are like, okay, this is actual like peak potential content that I need to finish at some point.
I wonder which kind of shows that maybe are peak fiction that maybe are on your list who have 23 episodes that could potentially be watched at some point potentially
Oh
based
my god.
based on a bet that happened
Based on
2
a bet
years
that
ago or however many years ago. I think it was 2. Anyway,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, we'll see. When I finish the initial list, who knows who will make the second cut. Right now,
Uh,
the big three I wanted were Freerun, Apothecary Diaries, and Summertime Rendering.
okay.
That was the short list.
Yeah. Um
And then after that, I think Vinland season 2 is probably the next one.
we'll go one at a time, one at a
I'll let Vinland 2 slide because I have that as a 10 out of 10. But
time.
The problem with
um
Vinland 2 is it started as a group watch, but I think we've nixed that, so I think it's just going to be a solo watch now.
sense. Wait, what did you think of Freerin? I mean, I gave my opinion on Summertime Render. I thought it was like overall good. It was just like that was like my biggest thing with it. But like
I mean,
for
it was
you, like
good.
Freerin, like
So it was still good, right? The second core.
uh-huh.
I feel like the second core kind of just felt a little bit like a Battle Shonen tournament arc. And it did that like format really well, but also kind of didn't do a lot of the things that from the from the first core that I really liked, right? It was more of let's introduce a bunch of characters that are going to be important in the future, right?
Mhm.
Which is fine. The arc itself was really good. I liked the little twist, not really twist, but the way that they set up the exams and everything to make it still believable, all of the outcomes that happened for specific characters,
Mhm.
and also like properly feel like it challenged everything.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I have nothing. It really didn't do anything more for me than the first core did. It just kind of continued what I thought was a good series with a pretty solid arc. That was just kind of a different side of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd mostly agree. I think the thing I guess that stood out for me, I guess due to the nature of the story, was in the second core, like some of the fights near the end looked really cool. Like I thought the animation was good. Um,
Yeah, that's valid.
but yeah, I guess I agree that it didn't like for me it didn't change my opinion too drastically or anything. It was just something that stood out. But yeah, I liked it throughout. It was good. First core, second core. So
Himmel is still the GOAT. And he is I did after I finished Free Rin. I went to my top 25 male characters. So a
oh my
little
god,
mini update. So Himmel has now cracked the top 15. Yes, he's at number 14 on my top 25 male characters.
wow, okay.
Pretty high up there.
It's
That's yeah. That's like
well, he was already scratching top 25.
okay.
They didn't add a ton for him in the second core, but there was just enough that I was like, all right, now that I've gotten through the whole season 1, we'll just do a deep dive.
Okay.
For
Okay.
reference, that puts him just below Taiki from Blue Box and Fujimaru from the Fate series, the FGOs and all of that. Puts him right above Nagi from Blue Lock and Sakuta from Bunny Girl. So
Ooh, does good. Okay. Okay.
that gives you a decent idea of where he stands.
Okay.
But yeah, it was good. I mean, I really enjoy with shows like this the world building aspects.
Hmm.
And Core 2 had some of that, but it was also like a one really good sized arc mostly in one area. It was more
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
like world building, a little more of like the magic systems, and like I said, adding characters that I'll need to know for later. And will certainly, I imagine pretty much every character that's been named that I've been introduced to will have some sort of use in the future one day.
If you are on any list and you have important stuff on your page, don't refresh. It broke. The servers died,
Oh,
I
okay,
guess.
good to know.
Thank fuck I opened when I was trying to look into a
Nice.
new tab. But yeah, the
Yeah.
host error currently, so but yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess the seasonals. I'll start with the ass, and then we can get to the gas later.
Start with the ass and move to the. I don't know.
I've
Not
also
ass.
watched the first episode or two of a few seasonals, so
Yeah, me too.
when I can chime in, I'll chime in.
Yeah, I know which ones you watched. I don't know about Spat, but
Yeah, I haven't updated my annual list to indicate anything. I think most of them were on my planning. I think there may have been one or two that I didn't watch, but yeah.
yeah, you can
Well,
just chime
yeah.
in then whenever if
Yep.
I get to one, but I know which ones PK has, so I'll just save those for
Mhm.
the end. Let's see, which is the worst one I can start with. I'll go with the. Or I'll say which ones I didn't watch another episode from yet. The rom com I talked about last week, the Married to the Girl in Class I Hate. I did not watch episode 2 of that yet. I'm not really looking forward to it either. I haven't watched Momentary Lily episode 2. I said that earlier, so no additional thoughts on that. And then let's see. I did not watch the Doctor Stone episode yet, but I'm not in a big hurry to do that. Let's see. Okay, I did, however, watch the third episode of Amaku.
I did
Um,
too.
Should just ranted about this episode in another server. So I did not like this
What
episode.
is
I did not
I
like
didn't like
episode
it as
3.
much either. Yeah.
what is
Episode
Amaku?
3 felt
Oh, the doctor.
yeah. Episode 3 was like literally it felt like the author did not research how hospitals work, and that episode was just based on the only way it could have happened is if the girls in that episode that were like part of the mystery went to the most incompetent hospital that like ever existed, because there's only no way that I also, like 2 minutes in when they were setting up the mystery, I guessed the mystery. I literally figured it out immediately. It was just not a good episode. It was like a very obvious conclusion that any doctor worth their salt should have been able to figure out, or at least like they. I don't know. So, do you have any interest in watching this, PK? I need to rant about this. I'm already pissed off.
You can rant about it. It's
Go
like
ahead.
on the potential start list, but
It's not
it's
a very
definitely
important
in
episode, so it's like
it's
not.
definitely in cut territory. So like I could end up watching it, but I also might not.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
The first and second episode, I mean, it's one mystery, but those were more interesting anyway. But this one is like a one-off episode that just kind of sucked. So the whole mystery is at the very start of episode 2. There's two girls at a platform. They're twin sisters, and they're talking about there's like a cursed video that if you watch it, you die or something like that. And so um the one of the sisters like, hey, we should watch the video, and the other one's like, eh. But they watch it anyway, and they're at the train station, and the trains come in. They watch the video, and one of them, after watching the video, suddenly starts like walking forward and off the tracks. Now the train stopped in time because it was already coming to a stop at the platform. So she didn't die; she just fell onto the tracks and hurt herself. Um, but at the hospital, the other sister who didn't get hurt is like, hey, we watched this video, this cursed video, and then she like jumped onto the tracks, and they're like, no, we think she was just stressed because she had like tests coming up, and she'd like had been getting pestered by her ex to get back together or something. So we think she just tried to kill herself in Minecraft. Um,
Yep.
and so that is like the whole start of the premise. Uh, Spoiler: the end mystery is that she had an epileptic seizure because at another point her sister, who had shown her the video and didn't have a seizure, was on like a staircase or something, watched the video, and then she ended up having one. And it
Mhm.
just so happened to be that like their epilepsy was very mild, and so they had to be under a lot of stress for it to occur. And obviously the other sister was stressed because she thinks she like caused her sister to fall onto a track or whatever. And so that's what ended up being the big reveal at the end. Is like, yep, they have epilepsy, and they have, I forget what exactly it's called. There's like an additional symptom they have where during their seizures they kind of like involuntarily move forward, and that's
Yeah.
like their
Okay.
thing. I don't remember what the exact term is, but that was the mystery. And I didn't guess the second part, but I'm like, when they watched the video, just the way that it was, the way that it looked, I'm like, did she like have a fit of epilepsy or something, and that's why she went off the tracks, not because like, it actually. Yeah, I don't know. And so this cursed
That's
video was actually just a video with bright flashing lights
Yep.
that caused epilepsy, and I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. They're like, that's the mystery. The hospital hears about this cursed video, and they're like, videos can't be cursed. We're not gonna take a look at that. And so they just like
Yeah.
they just put the girl in a psych ward because they think
It's
she's
called
suicidal.
automatism.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's like the term they used. Yeah.
So that's
Um.
like the whole mystery is just that like this hospital was incompetent, did not look at the video that her sister was swearing up and down caused her to like go off the edge, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean it's just literally just incompetent doctors at this hospital, and our
Yeah.
quote super genius figured it out. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't. I figured it out, dude. I have like no medical, history. I'm like,
We know the. Unfortunately, we know the Porygon story and why that's not on Pokemon, right? Like the.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
was like the first thing I thought of when they. I mean, okay, I didn't. I admit I didn't guess it like initially, but um, like later on, it kind of made sense. But that was like when they like when it hit me, and then when they eventually revealed it, that was like the first thing I thought of was like the Porygon episode that they had to remove because of epilepsy. But yeah,
yeah, when we got to the reveal, like I've been thinking epilepsy, but I'm like, nah, that's too easy. It wouldn't be epilepsy.
yeah,
It's gotta be something like a really wild medical condition. It's like, yeah, she has epilepsy. What? I'm like, really?
yeah,
Like that's it? Like she has epilepsy? She has a
because
thing that
the
the doctors probably should be able to like
yeah
figure out. Like they didn't see any signs that like she had had a seizure. Like they did not check the video. They just fully assumed like, yep, she was stressed and tried to do it, and then it happened to her sister, and like, yep, her sister was stressed and she tried to do it too. Definitely nothing to look at here. Definitely don't need
Yeah.
to see that video. So
The
stupid.
it's kind of sad because the mystery from like episodes 1 and 2 was like the like what actually happened was kind of like multi-step, a little bit like
It
complex.
was
It was kind of
very
cool.
like goofy, but it was convoluted
Yeah,
and it
like
kept you
yeah,
engaged. This one, I'm
yes,
like, this seems like I know the answer, and
too
the answer,
easy.
it seems too easy throughout the whole thing, and then it
Yeah,
was too easy, and I'm like, oh well, okay, epilepsy, I guess, sure. Yeah, I did not like episode 3 at all.
yeah, I agree. I'm gonna keep watching it, but I agree. This one was like compared to the first two, it's like a big letdown. So see how it progresses from here. But yeah, I
All right,
was I was definitely a little disappointed too.
rant over. Now I can start ranting about another one. So I watched a couple episodes of Honey Lemon Soda. It's the shoujo romance. And you listed back
Yeah,
online, by the way.
I
Um,
had that one on my planning, but I haven't watched it. I think that was the only one that I had planning haven't watched. But yeah,
yeah, I mean, when we read the source, I'm like, this seems very generic, and then I watched episode 1. I'm like, yeah, this is really generic. Um, there are things I like about it, but then it's like it's really on the nose with its dialogue and monologues and stuff like that. It's just like it beats you over the head with like the character work, and it's not something I ever enjoy. Um, and then it just has like I don't know, it has a lot of shojo isms, I guess I'll call them. But just like I don't know. I mean,
the dude is perfect.
I feel like I've read this manga before. Like if I go to my anime or my manga list and like just look at, I don't think they have shojo as they have Maho shojo in there. If I just put romance, that'll probably be good enough. I went through a shojo phase a while ago, but I mean, yeah, I'm just like I've read this shit before, basically. But I mean, maybe a lot of people seem to like it, so surely it'll probably get better at some point. And like I see signs of it like being good. Um, I just feel like the start so far has just been very, very generic, and then it's difficult to put into words without going into all the detail. But basically, just I'm not a fan of how everything is written thus far. And even though there are good moments, I don't think there's enough good moments in between all of the very basic, like, setup of the protagonist. Um, her love interest is, like, it's the most, like, shoujo male character of all time. Where he's a little bit of a dick, but he actually does care. And he's hot. And he likes the loser main character because, of course. Um, Yeah, I don't know. And then there's like they have like a fucking Team Rocket like ass trio in there as like bullies to set up the character of the main
Okay.
girl, and they're like cartoon villains, dude. Like I mean, it's so unserious, and I hope we never see them again after what happened in episode 2. But um, it's just like it's hard to take seriously. You know, like all the moments that I do like are just feel overshadowed by the goofiness of some of the stuff surrounding them, and then just just like every second is like I can't help but feel like I've been down this road before. So I'll continue it, but I was not very impressed with the first 2 episodes. Production quality's fine, uh, but yeah, right now I'm not really attached to any of the characters. Um, and I just hope the good moments start to show more than the ones that I'm not particularly interested in. That was that.
Yeah,
Um,
I I might watch it. I don't know.
I don't think
We'll
you'd
see.
like it. Actually, in
Yeah,
fact,
I feel like I
I think
wouldn't.
you would hate. I would think you would hate it, even.
Yeah, probably because I just like when we were going through all the stuff from the season, I was like, I don't even know if I like a lot of these shows, but I'll just put them on my watching, but or planning, but we'll see.
It just gave me vibes like I wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
If you've seen a shojo, if you've seen like the
you've
first
seen
3
one, you've
episodes
seen
of
them
any
all.
shojo, I'm not gonna say that, but if you've seen any like generic shojo esque show, then you've seen this one, at least the first 2 episodes. But hopefully it's kind of like a shonen thing, I guess. Like, well, I'll talk about this later at some point when we talk about another new show. But Like a lot of them feel like they have very like same starting identity, and then if they either evolve later or they don't. So hopefully this one evolves into its own thing. Let's see. Next, I actually just watched this one before the podcast started. Jubel Blatt. It's a fantasy.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this one.
I don't really know. The first episode felt very like they were skipping through a lot, and apparently they actually were. Did like 100 pages in a single episode. So
Not a great sign.
yeah, definitely not not fantastic. Um, I didn't like hate it or anything, but it just kind of like kept going event to event to event to event, and it's just like okay, I can see where the 100 pages came from because there's like literally no room to breathe. To give a non-spoiler version of what happens at the very start, there's an incident in which a very obviously evil man is trying to do evil things, and then they get out of that situation, and then another group of like from the same group they reappear, and they get out of the situation again, and then they reappear, and then they get out of the situation, and at the end of the episode they reappear again. I'm like, I've seen this asshole 4 times now, basically. I'm ready to be done with whoever this character is that keeps popping up. Just fucking cartoon ass generic villain. Um, it seems there's a lot of things that it hasn't really gotten into, but based on the context in the anime, and then the opening and ending being a little spoilery, maybe considering we haven't been given that information yet. I don't know. I need more time to really have an opinion on this, but episode 1 was going really fast. I did not feel like I had a lot of time to really get acquainted with some of the characters. And so hopefully I'm not missing out on too much information in regards to them, but we will see. But yeah, I don't have any strong opinions on that.
Yeah, I haven't. I have not watched it yet. It is on my prospective list of potential things I will watch.
I'll keep you posted, but episode 1 was just okay, is how I'll put it for
Fair.
now. But yeah, I mean, there's plenty more to see. What next?
Something where episode 1 wasn't just okay, because it was really good.
No, we're not saving this for the end.
Flower. Flower's
I was
Nashra.
just trying to go through all my stuff and then get to the stuff we both watched.
Yeah, I just wanted to be chaos.
Yeah. Okay.
You're doing a
As
lot
it
of trolling
goes.
today, buddy.
Big
Just a little
troller.
bit. Might be trolling a tiny bit.
All right.
I did watch the episode 2 of Flower and Ashra earlier though.
Yes.
Right before I started Apothecary Diaries.
Nice.
And we will talk about that because it's good, and so I'm saving it for later.
Okay, fine.
It's at the end of the Ask the Gas line, you know. You can't just throw it in there, you know.
Yeah, that is true. Sorry, I forgot we were.
I gotta get through this fat list of things you are not going to watch, and then we can get to the important ones. I guess it's not even actually that fat of a list. I actually am not watching a whole bunch, as per my usual standards. Watched episode 1 of season 2 of My Happy Marriage earlier. Just kind of more of the same. So whatever episode in this podcast I talked about my thoughts on My Happy Marriage, go watch that, and there you go. That's my thoughts on My Happy Marriage. Still continues to be the least happy marriage of all time, though, based on episode 1. Haven't seen episode 2 yet, though. I'll get to that later tonight. Solo Leveling. I watched episode 2 of that.
I haven't seen that one yet. But
it's
I
entertaining,
probably
but
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Go whatever episode I talked about my solo leveling thoughts.
It's solo leveling.
It's just more solo leveling. It's not particularly good, but it's like it's well made slop. So I'll
Well made
keep
slop, peak slop.
just aura farming is what everyone calls it.
Oh, I need to, before we talk about things that we all talk about later, I will also need to mention one thing I watched that is peak slop that Daniel is probably not watching.
Go for it.
What is it?
Let me find the full title for you guys. I may be a guild receptionist, but also any boss to clock out on time. Episode 1, really fun. This is 100% just going to be peak slop in the
I heard
sense
someone on
that
Twitter talk about it, that it was like actually not
Yeah, I
terrible. So I
saw
don't
a
know.
I'm
clip
gonna
of it, and I really respect Ray Takahashi for giving her role to whatever she's in.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
that
know
was
yeah,
if I'm gonna
one. I heard
watch
another
it,
one.
but it doesn't seem. It seems at least
it's
entertaining.
fun. Like I don't say peak slop as like an insult. I think it'll be every week. I'm gonna, well, maybe not every week, but throughout the season when I'm ready to watch it, I will watch it and I will have fun and it'll be great. And I don't have high expectations for it actually being good, which is why I say peak slop, because I just kind of don't expect it to do anything that's going to be conventionally good content. I just expect it to continue to be fun.
It's just
Yeah,
like
at
a
least from
random
the clips
shot.
on Twitter I've seen, it seems like. Yeah, I mean, it's Ria Takahashi. Anything she's in is gonna be
It's
fun,
Ria Takahashi, yeah.
especially when it's like what a type of show that like really lets her like be her, basically, just really eccentric, fun voice actress.
Yeah. I would recommend it if anyone wants just like a fun, like brain off watch this season. I think it's great for that.
Yeah, speaking of peak slop, positive, um, 100 Girlfriends season 2 started, so it basically
Yeah,
picked up
I
right where
would
it
say
left off.
peak slop is fair for 100 Girlfriends.
I'm not gonna well, I'm not definitely not like a great literary
That's
work,
what I'm saying.
but
Like I would say that's probably valid.
it's like one of those shows where it's like I'm not gonna look at it and well, I mean, I literally called it peak fiction in a YouTube title, but I mean that's mainly because YouTube title, but I'm not gonna say it's like anything like. I mean, there are some
Too
things I think. I
crazy.
think the way that it actually balances all the characters it has so far is honestly like very impressive for a writer. It's definitely doesn't do anything too insane with its character work or anything to that degree, but um,
It has some really good moments.
it's one
I
of
don't know
those.
if that's enough for it to escape the peak slop title,
It's one
but
of those things I'm gonna rate high. I'm gonna say like I'm not gonna call it good, but then if like someone makes fun of it or like calls it bad, I'm not gonna be happy about that. You know, it's like
yeah,
it's in this weird limbo state between. I could not recommend this to literally almost anybody that ever, but I do love it. It's very endearing. But
I
yeah,
have not watched episode 1 yet, sadly. I have read, we talked about it before. I read a good chunk of the season 2 content. Um I just feel like 100 Girlfriends might be something that I want to like build up a couple episodes and then watch a couple episodes at a time.
yeah, I think that's probably fun. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the start. Yeah, I mean, it's funny seeing like how they kind of bend because I'm the manga breaks the fourth wall, obviously, and like it's like, hey, we're a manga, and so the anime has to like kind of
They
change
have to
around
do
those
that
scenes
too,
where it's
yeah.
like, yeah, hey, we're an anime. So instead of being like, oh, that happened like 3 chapters ago, it's like, oh, that happened like an episode ago. So they're having fun with it. Has not missed a beat. Still, it looks. I think most of the staff like returned for season 2. So uh, I am looking forward to seeing
I
more
had to
episodes of
laugh.
it.
I saw a tweet about this talking about the new girl that comes in at this part of the story and how she's a middle schooler. Which isn't that bad because he's
I mean,
like
they're
what, a
literally
first year in high school.
he's 15,
Yeah,
she's 14. It's just not
he's
bad.
like a year older than her. So it's not that big a deal. But the tweets did make me laugh of people being like, "Oh man, this guy's going after middle schoolers now.
Dude,
What's next?"
dude, like that makes me laugh because I saw a
It probably
reply to
gets
one of the.
way worse.
Well, I mean, yes, well, not way worse, oh, marginally worse. Anyway,
Worse.
um, there's literally like to one of those tweets that said that there's a reply immediately that's like, so you're not okay with a 1 year gap, but the 13-year gap between him and the
Him
mom
and
is totally okay.
yep, it's okay and based.
And their reply was, yeah, 'cause she's hot or she's a MILF or whatever, so I'm fine with
That's
it. And
crazy.
I'm like, all right, buddy. Wonder Girlfriends definitely crosses a multitude of moral lines, but I'm gonna let
This
it
is not one
slide.
of them.
I mean, this is not one of them, but I'm gonna let all the ones that had to slide because it's funny.
Yeah, it just made me laugh when I saw that tweet going around because I saw it and immediately was like, I don't think their age difference is that different, but which I then later looked up and I was like, yeah,
Yeah, it's
fair.
not at all. I think a lot of people just don't understand like the schooling years over there versus us. So
It still just made me laugh though, which was the big thing that I wanted out of it. Was just like, oh, it's funny.
yeah. Let's see. Is there anything else that you? Okay. I guess Apothecary Diaries actually you haven't watched. I don't know too much to say on episode 1. Apothecary Diaries is one of those things that like kind of builds up.
I kind of
Uh,
watched Apothecary Diaries.
well, you kind of did, but
I mean, you watched a different season of it, but yeah.
yeah, we're in a little bit of different of a place right now.
He's when you watch episode 1 of season 2, he's gonna watch episode 1 of season 2. You know, it's like parallel. You guys will finish at
Oh,
the same
I'm
time,
syncing
technically.
up. I see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's watched 3 episodes, so we can't really we're not quite synced, but it is funny. Like the first 3 episodes are actually they all released on the same day, so technically you're on
So I
the
just watched episode 1,
you
basically.
basically watched episode 1, and not really, but
That's interesting because the first 3 episodes
I mean they're
were
not
not
linked
like,
at all.
yeah, they weren't linked or anything. It was just like 3 different. I don't want to use the term monster of the day, but that's like what I think of with plots like the first 3 episodes, right? Is it's, oh, what's the illness we gotta cure today, or well, episode 3, not really an illness, but
Yeah,
what are we
well,
solving today, folks?
and it'll evolve from that. Like that's what I kind of like thought
Oh, I'm
throughout
sure it will.
the first like bit of it, and then later on I got to parts where I'm like, oh, maybe this is peak. Like, my bad. I gotta let them cook. Um, all right, and then now getting to some of the things that I know you and I have both watched. I'm gonna start with Sakamoto Days
I
because
watched that one
I
too.
don't
Episode
really.
1 at least.
Yeah, I watched the
I
first 2
watched both.
episodes. But I don't really have much to
I had
say
to
about it.
fight.
It's
I
like,
had to fight through ad blockers to watch this one and Medalist, which we're also going to talk about later. But I figured it out.
yeah, I I think it's I don't know. It's one of those concepts like this. If it does not evolve very quickly, this concept is going to wear off on me very quick. Like haha, I was watching a fat dude beat the fuck out of people.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's just like kind of like what I said with honey lemon soda before. Like I've seen this shit, but I've seen this anime before already. Like it's
Paul
just
Blart Mall Cop.
Paul
Yeah.
Blart Mall Cop, yeah. Paul Blart Mall Cop would honestly like Mike Clear. Let's talk about it. I'm not gonna say that. I just it just doesn't do. It's just fun. It's fun, but it doesn't really do it for me. Other than like I'm gonna go through every episode thinking that was fun, and then I'm not gonna think about it until the very next week. Is basically how every episode's gonna go.
I kind of agree. I don't know what I want out of it necessarily,
I don't either, but
but I
I
mean,
want something, and I just don't know
yeah.
if I'm gonna get that. I just don't see where this goes.
There's a part of me that's like, so are we just going to end up being like half slice of life at the shop? And there's a part of me that's like, or is this just going to
Well,
like,
PK, if it was part slice of life, then it wouldn't be popular. So it's just gonna be action most of the time.
well, that's my thought. But then I'm like, well, that sounds like it's going to be obnoxious the way that they've set everything up in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, I just don't see where this goes. I mean, I guess it's with the other like we're 2 episodes in. There's gonna be
The
11.
next couple episodes will probably get us to like at least some knowledge.
Because like really, we're just in like character introduction territory, which God knows how long we're gonna be in that for. It's just it's difficult to watch stuff like this weekly, uh, knowing like this is the setup phase, and who knows what the actual like content is going to be later. Um, yeah,
I didn't know that this show had a cute female character in it, so
I mean,
I'm already
you have
it's
to have your
above my expectations.
one token cute female character if you're a shonen manga.
It's already above my expectations because I didn't even know it would have one.
I don't know. I mean, just
None.
well, what the issue with like these type of shows is it doesn't really have like I'm not gonna say it's grounded in realism, but it's for the most part, the real world, other than like the fucking insane shit that goes on, because it's a goofy, zany action, whatever.
Yeah, but then it's also like and I wouldn't consider this a spoiler because it's revealed in like the first 5 minutes of episode 1. But if anyone listening cares, skip forward like 2 minutes. But the like the secondary main character, the other dude, is a psychic. So it's like it is kind of grounded in like something of a realistic world, but it's also not.
I mean,
And I
obviously,
don't really know
the dude
how.
spat a cough drop to deflect a bullet. I mean, that's just kind of where we are now.
Yeah, but I'm saying like I don't know how much more or less I would want it to go into like unrealistic. But I
Well, I'm
almost
just
feel like
saying it's like more limited in that regard because for all my problems with Fire Force, it's a very interesting concept and a very interesting world that it gets to build off of. With Sakamoto Days, like this is the real world. Some things, like the fact that he can spit a cough drop perfectly into a bullet, exist. And he's a psychic. That other dude's a psychic, obviously, but it's just one of those things where I just don't see what, I don't see what the long term plan is.
yeah.
For like the
Well,
series.
part of that was what I was gonna say is I almost feel like I'd rather have it venture more into like unrealistic at this point if we're already doing crazy shit.
Yeah, just I don't see what the game plan is.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked the first 2 episodes. I don't. They didn't do anything for me that like other shonens don't or anything crazy. It was just 2 episodes of shonen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the animation? Because I saw the thing is I
It
saw
was fine.
People were
yeah
people were bitching about
yeah
like people need a real dog shit adaptation in their
yeah
life. I'm so fucking tired of
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
these
it
spoiled
was
ass
literally
Shonen Jump
Terribleness.
fans when their adaptations. You need to watch them slop.
it was it was good animation and people were acting like it was like the worst thing they've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I no thoughts.
Yeah. I saw like half the people were complaining on Twitter and then the other half were complaining about the people on Twitter. So I was
So some
like,
people will be
it
like,
was fine.
I
Like,
don't know. Obviously, some people on Twitter were like ironically saying like, "Oh, they should have had like this type of animation." It's like Fate, like the most insane fights of all time.
Yeah.
And then like other people unironically are like, you know, I kind of wish they would have had like Ufotable on this." I'm like, fuck, I wish I would have had Ufotable on like all the anime that I like, but I don't. So that's just where we are right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Just,
you don't get Ufotable on your anime? That's
I
tough.
wish
Noob.
I had Ufotable on ReZero and you know everything else I like, but I didn't get that. So
The
you
thing
know.
is, it's like even if they were gonna pop off with the animation on this, which at some point I'm sure they will, we haven't had a scene that would really be worth that anyway.
There's not been like it's not like the craziest animation on planet Earth, but it's like
It's
it gets the
good.
job done. Like it's
Yeah.
solid enough. The action is moving, which is a lot more than some anime can say. Like
Like
fucking
I don't know what people were expecting from him, like you said, spitting a gumball at a fucking bullet. You know what I mean? Do we really need to like spend all the budget on that scene? No.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. People be bitching. People got I don't know. Watch your second anime, please. Like oh my god.
Watch your second anime, please. It's
Please watch
crazy.
your second anime.
Oh my gosh.
Or watch your second genre. Sorry, my bad. Like go watch a slice of life or
Yes.
something. I don't know. Be enlightened.
Go watch an Engi anime.
Go watch an Engi anime, not Medalist though. We'll get to that.
Not
But
Mentalist.
yeah, I don't need to bitch it on my series. Anyway, uh, which one do we talk about? We want to talk about Medalist or Flower and Us, or I'll let you
We can talk
choose.
about
Uh,
Mentalist since I kind of
yeah.
just segued us to it.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I've
It
seen
wasn't
episode one.
necessarily intentional. It's just I was thinking of what's the most offensive adaptation that we've had in this call, and it's Angel Next Door. So
If you photoball an Angel Next Door, would go pretty hard.
Maybe a little.
I did. I
Horrible.
watched my 2 episodes of Medalist per the contract. I sure hope Spat
I
the
watched
fine
episode
print.
one. I was trying to finish Summertime Render, bro. Leave me alone, man.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
At least you watched
Um.
episode one, so you're not completely
Yeah.
lost.
Nope.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Your
did.
your contract isn't void.
Yeah.
It says that the person
Tentative.
who's 3 of 12 in Sign of Affection. We don't talk about it.
Anyway, I'll let you all speak first, and then I can give my thoughts as the reader in the room.
Bro, I love the coach. He's such a goober.
He is based. He's extremely
He's-
based.
yeah,
He's so
he's
fun.
cool, I guess.
I can
I
understand why.
guess you hadn't seen episode 2, but that's.
I can understand why you really like Inori too.
This is like just the. I mean, I've had like 46 more chapters with Inari as well. It's like she's such a good character, like genuinely. Like
Yeah.
even outside of just like her being like just easy to root for. Like she's genuinely a good character, and we'll get to that. As we continue. But
I think it's funny how they like to mention how expensive ice skating is, but then like totally have so far skated past how this fucking middle to low class family can afford to put her into ice skating.
I mean, I don't know. We don't really know her family's status. I
I
guess
guess that's
the
true.
fact that her sister skated at one point,
Skated
I don't
before, that's
think
true.
they're. And also,
Maybe they're better off than I felt like from the
probably
one scene.
Yeah, you saw like part of their an angle of their kitchen. That's
Saw an
literally
angle of their
it.
kitchen. Saw an angle of their kitchen. I was like, well, they can't be that well off.
But I don't know. I mean, that's not really something that ever gets particularly talked about. It's probably not as expensive there as it is in like a fucking America or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's not super important if they didn't like mention it 4 times in episode 1.
It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, it's gonna be a commitment, like to this family.
Yeah.
So it's not like one of those things that's like a giant plot point, but it is like a point where you have to mention it. Like it is not. It is an
I like
expensive thing to get into.
I like the favoritism gag because I mean at some point probably he does teach other kids, but this guy literally just clocks in, trains Inori, and clocks out. That's what it feels like so far.
So
Which just makes the whole favoritism gag funnier to me because I've
just-
literally not seen him interact with a single other kid.
he does help the others, but his main priority is Inari. But yeah, I don't. It's not something they show often, but I know they do. They'll show it eventually at some point, unless they cut it for some reason. But he's involved. He's just more involved elsewhere. But yeah, no, it's funny.
Yeah. It's just funny because they keep making like all the comments about like, oh, you can't show the other parents that favoritism and stuff like that, which is true. But then I never see him put any like visual effort into not showing favoritism, which is fine because I think it would not necessarily worsen the quality of the show, but it wouldn't be important to like my
Yeah.
watch experience. But it just to me makes the gag feel funnier.
And it's kind of like with I'm assuming you watched the post-credit scene of episode
Yeah.
1. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what it is. Like, hey, don't do that. And he's going to keep doing that.
He will 100% continue to
He's
do
our
that.
coach and #1 fan. So it's what it is.
Yeah, it was good. I liked the first 2 episodes.
I feel like I have to watch episode 2 before giving a true opinion. Like,
That's valid.
yeah. I mean, I liked episode 1. I didn't have any like strong feelings about it.
Yeah, I
It's
know what
probably not the
state
answer
I
you're
know what
looking
state
for,
you
but,
live
like-
in, so just keep that in mind.
That's crazy. I was gonna say like the first thing I was like paying attention to because I'm trying to remember from the trailer because I think it overlapped kind of like with the opening scene, but I was like paying attention to the animation in the opening scene, which I thought was pretty good. Like because I remember the trailer, it was like I'm trying to remember if it was the same girl, but anyway, yeah. I was paying attention to the animation. I thought the animation of the opening scene like was pretty cool. And I mean, yeah, for the rest of it, I don't think there was. I don't know. I still feel like I need to watch episode 2 because you guys are, like the coach was like okay. Like I mean, like I shouldn't say okay, but like I feel like there's something happening in episode 2 that makes them like a lot more
I mean,
likable than he is in episode 1.
episode 2, you actually get like real character interactions, right?
Okay, yeah.
Whereas in episode 1, it's like
It's
They
setting
meet
the
each- they
scene.
meet
half
each
the
other,
episode,
basically.
yeah, half the episode
Yeah.
they meet.
Yeah.
The only thing he's really done in episode 1 is like the speech at the end, probably, which is like he's a little goofy.
Dude,
Yeah.
that speech, reading it was so funny because you get to the point where like Inari has her big speech, which was very good in the manga, and I think the anime did a really good job with it as well. with her expressions and such. And then, but it's like right at the end of her speech when he like it cuts to his goofy face or whatever. He's like, "Let's just let her do it" or whatever. It was really funny reading that because I'm on my phone scrolling, and it shows him like start to get serious in the anime. They kind of like bridge the conversation, where he like addresses her mother and then says it. But
Yeah.
in the manga, it's just him having like a serious look on, or not even serious look. It like shows his chin with like the dark shadow, so you know he's serious. But
Oh yeah, of
then it
course.
cuts to that face immediately. Like I scroll down and it's like it's from this extremely well drawn serious moment, just goofy ass face. Like let's just let her do it. Like I really love the manga has like really good comedic timing and such. And I think the anime captures that pretty well most of the time. So that is something I appreciated.
Yeah, I can't say too much about episode 2 because Battle watch it pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll
So
give my opinion next time, but
we'll almost certainly have fairly regular medalist check-ins on the
And we'll
podcast.
have episode
So
3 by next time as well. So you should
oh
have
yeah,
some
okay,
more
okay,
info.
yes,
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
like this
as
will
we
be a
start to
recurring character.
get more into like the skating aspect. I mean, we're still in the obviously there's a skating aspect no matter what episode, but like the more important skating ones, I think you'll get a better feel of the characters. I mean, you have a good feel of them now for the most part, but
Mhm.
I think you'll have a better feel of like who they are going to be as we continue.
I also need to like I understand that she's really good, and part of that is like the fact that she's kind of like mentally thought about it. Like it's shown her little notebook and stuff like that in
Yeah,
episode 1. And it's and like visual training for something like this actually is like a really important thing. So like it makes sense to me, but I still need to like believably see how she gets to the level that she even is supposed to be at by like the theoretical end of season 1, right?
yeah. So the uh it's not just visual training that she was doing. Like when she's going into the rink, like
Yeah, she would be doing it as
she's been
well.
doing it for a very long time. Like
Okay.
like the anime doesn't really show I think it's in a chapter extra, so I have no idea if the anime is even going to put that in there. But she's been going since she was like really like pretty young. And
So the
so
weird thing to me with that, so we see in the first scene, and this is where maybe like the adaptation just wasn't clear to me, but we see in the first scene her like watching Hikaru's performance.
right.
And I like in my head I'm watching it and I know like that's not the moment that inspired her, but it feels like that type of moment,
I mean, she
right?
looks up to her, but it's not like her inspiration
Yeah,
moment.
like she'd been doing it longer than that, which is fair, but I think that it's also just because of the way that was staged, maybe just the anime, maybe it's just me. It felt like, oh, she's like starting to skate around this age, not just like this is when she's
No,
taking
I
it
think the
seriously.
important thing to note is her sister. Like she's been
Her
like
sister
obviously
having been,
yeah,
yes.
having been a skater and her being around that. I don't know. Personally, I never saw it framing it as her inspiration moment, just like a moment that she was watching because she enjoys skating.
And that might just be because I watch a lot of sports anime, and almost all sports anime start with a moment similar to that. And most of the time, that's like the inspiration moment, right?
Yeah, no, but that was
Haikyuu,
not an inspiration moment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was just a moment.
Haikyuu, for example, starts with Hinata seeing the team for the school that he eventually goes to playing in nationals on like the TV while he's biking by,
Right. Yeah.
and that's when he's like, "I'm gonna play volleyball."
Yeah,
So that might just be me projecting that onto the fact that I'm just used to watching sports anime, and that's like a common thing that they like to do. And this is like the same thing, but not with the same meaning.
yeah.
PK will be judging this medalist through the lens of every sports anime he's ever watched. It's over.
I won't be, but if it does sports anime things, it then will be judged against sports anime, right? Um, But it's not a bad thing. I like sports anime, so like
Yeah, this is kind of
as
where I
long as it
wish
cooks.
the chapter extras. I hope they're included because a lot of they honestly do give like some of the context you're looking for. Like the old man she gives worms to, like he also like he didn't just like let her in, like he also when she was younger like taught her a little bit, like
Yeah.
so that relationship is more important than I think I don't remember how many chapter.
The anime kind of just
if volume
like you
extras are
understood
important for that, you understand that he's not
you
like
understand from context that he's like he doesn't need to take the worms from her.
yeah.
Like that's just an excuse.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm not gonna say anymore because there a lot. Some of their relationship is kind of developed in the extras, which I don't think they're gonna animate probably. But some of it is also obviously like just in the anime itself. So I'm just gonna let that. I'll let that roll for a little bit. But he's not like unimportant, and I wish the anime
Yeah.
maybe would have shown that a little more. So it kind of. This is probably one of the biggest issues I have with. So I'll get into my thoughts a little bit now since I've actually read it.
Hmm.
The anime has done a fine job, a lot better than I expected. um, my biggest worry was always the production quality, but I feel like where
It
we are,
seemed decent so far.
yeah, it's good so far. My biggest issue is just the backgrounds. Like everything else, like the character animation has been a lot more lively than I ever expected. We'll see how it continues into the next other episodes, but the script so far has been fine, and I think what it's doing what it can to because the initial medalist chapters are long. Like it's already a monthly manga, but then like
Okay.
chapter 1 is like 70 pages. Chapter 2 is like 70. Though the first like 3 chapters are all like 70 pages. So it's long as shit. And there's a lot of detail and dialogue and stuff in there. And it what the script does in order to achieve like a so far has been a one chapter per episode basis to work on. um, it's kind of cut down on some of the detail in the conversations, um, and then it feels like it downplays some of the characters. Whether that should be like the importance of one character or maybe the personality of another. Like in episode 1, um, Inari's like issues are like pretty severely downplayed. Like her mom was like a real like piece of shit basically in the first chapter. Which I don't mind the anime changing as much because I think it's more consistent with how her mom acts in chapters 2 through everything else.
Yes.
But like her school life, like obviously it wasn't like an easy time in the anime, but they did not get like I don't know the kids were much meaner to her. Because like in the anime, it's like the first kid says something and it was a bit mean, but then the other one's like, oh, don't worry, it's fine, blah blah blah. But like in the manga, everyone's a dick basically.
Hmm.
And some they skip out on a little bit. Is she's like really forgetful, and she had like think the sub said like her mom was gonna like help her review the homework. Like no, she just like needs help doing it like on a general thing. She's not real book smart. She's very forgetful. Like forgets to bring textbooks to class, and so the has like an awkward moment with the teacher, and then like her
Literally me.
her classmates don't want her on the project 'cause she's not good at anything. Like that's something that I understand why they cut down on it a little bit, but that is like if the anime had like an extra 30 seconds to 1 minute per episode, like you could get a lot more. You can get a more full picture of her struggles in there. Um, and that's kind of where I stand. I think there's another moment like that in episode 2 where I'm not like as whatever about it because it wasn't like as important. But yeah, some of the character moments are the important character moments where they're like really touching and heartfelt. That usually those are like pretty fully kept, but some of the more side character building moments feel like they're being cut down on a bit, which is unfortunate because I feel like a lot of those is kind of like the bread and butter of the series is just having a lot of strong character relationships. But yeah, overall, Angie has done a lot better than I expected. They put what looks like a lot of care into like the skating scenes. this 3D has been actually like extremely good. Like I was not expecting. I never. If you told me Engi has a medalist and the skating is gonna be 3D, I wouldn't even watch the trailer. I would have given up on it immediately. Uh, but they've done a good job so far. And I like the OP and the ED. The ED visuals are very cute, and the OP visuals and the OP song are very good.
I do
So
really like the DD visuals. I had something I was gonna say, so and I've forgotten. I don't know. Yeah, it was good. 2 episodes. I can see why it's enjoyable, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm
I still suggest
excited to
reading
keep
it because
watching.
the art in the manga is fucking incredible, and the anime will never be able to replicate that. But I think it did, when it needed to, like a pretty good job of
I'll start reading it when Engi's. when it
The
when it falls
inevitable.
off,
The inevitable.
when it falls off,
the inevitable
then
fall off.
I'll make the switch.
We
So
didn't.
pessimistic.
Usually, it's immediately after episode 1 it falls off. So I'm actually hopeful that maybe we hang on.
Maybe we don't fall off.
Maybe we don't fall off, please. Uh, but yeah, I mean, one of the biggest moments. I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a picture. Hold on. Hopefully, I can just Google it because I don't feel like going to. Actually, I can probably just go on to a questionable site real quick.
Questionable
But
site.
this is like one of those moments
How
where like I see
questionable
a
are we talking?
frame in the anime. Like I hate comparing frames in anime to frame to like pages in a manga.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things where like I see the art of the manga and then I see the fucking the anime and how they adapt it. I'm like, oh, like
Oh, I
that's
remember what I
how
was
it
gonna
goes.
say.
Uh,
So I obviously the manga is gonna be more detailed in this
yeah,
regard, as it should be. But I like the amount of like ice skating exclamation that the anime did. It didn't feel like it was too much, but it was enough to give me like a basic understanding.
yeah. The manga
And I
is
mostly
a
say
bit
that
more detailed, but the anime still keeps a bit of it in, mostly through
yeah,
like the visualizations that go along with it.
yeah. I also think the manga should be more detailed because I think if you tried to, because you see this in sports anime and stuff all the time. If you try to over explain in the anime format, it gets boring and dry, right?
Yeah.
But in manga, it's great. Like if I'm reading, yeah, tell me all of that shit.
Yeah, so in episode 2 where you meet a character who seems not very happy next to a trash can, for
Yes,
lack of, all right, well, this is like the panel, like one of the panels that basically introduces him, and the obviously
that is pretty cool.
the anime has no near this level
The
of
anime did
aura.
not have that much aura.
Yeah, so yeah, it's just one of those things. I look at that and I'm like, man, knowing what that looks like at the manga versus the anime, it's like, oh boy, like I wish. Engi's doing fine so far, but I still wish we could have gotten a more a better studio for such a prolific like artwork series. But yeah, it's been fun at worst, so I will take it. It's something I can watch and be happy about each week and not want to die. So that's a compliment to
I like all the
me.
characters so far.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely like Medalist doesn't really have any like characters I dislike. The boy you met in episode 2, he's a little difficult, but you'll get there eventually.
He feels like one of those characters that's just either going to be difficult or going to 180 on me at some point.
When he gets there, he'll get there, but that's for another time. Anyway, now I think this is the last thing here, which we brought up earlier in the trolling section. um, but Flower and Asura, I thought the first 2 episodes were pretty fucking gas.
I really like the
I did that.
this.
Planning to. Okay. If it's good, I gotta watch it then. Good.
It's been good. First 2 episodes, I just watched episode 2 earlier. Um, I mean, it's exactly as advertising. Girl just really heckin' likes to read.
It takes like okay, that's one way to put it. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I was like,
It's
wow, okay. I don't know if I want to watch this. Okay,
anyway.
okay.
It takes what on paper seems like a very like uninteresting and difficult to like premise, perhaps with like they call it recitations, and I mean that's probably like the more technical term for it. But when I did like public speaking class in like high school, we had to do something similar to this, and we just called it a dramatic reading. So and that rolls off the tongue easier for me than, or it feels more. I don't want to say detailed. Feels more like a proper way of saying it, but
And then they turn it into a sports anime.
that I don't know. I don't know if I quite.
Okay,
It
buddy.
it had it had the inspiration moment at the very start. Had our inspiration moment. So maybe it is a sports anime, but I don't know.
I told you this show is secretly a sports anime.
I don't know, but
Um,
but it takes that dramatic reading, and normally like if you told me like in high school when I was gonna watch an anime about dramatic reading one day, but like what the fuck are you on about? But the first two episodes they take, I think the visuals are so important to this show. Um and I
yes,
mean they look good on like a general basis, but like whenever they get into the dramatic reading and they kind of visualize it through just like the fun interesting ways they do, like episode 2 with like the bubbles or whatever. I thought that
yeah,
was like it's a quick little visualization, but
they
it's
do a good
nice.
job of visually showing us how like captivating her reading is,
Yeah, because it's like one of those
which
things
is
where
yeah,
it's most people aren't going to get drawn in by reading alone, and so they kind of combine that with the like you kind of get drawn in by the visuals more than anything, but it through the visuals kind of draws you into the reading. Um, I actually did get drawn in by the end of episode 1. Like I thought she was kind of cooking there, but
oh yeah, when she was on the beach,
yeah, if she on the beach, she was going
on
ham.
the beach she went crazy, and I say that as a non-Japanese speaker,
Yeah,
right?
no, she like I could tell like yeah, I'm like this is a dramatic reading. Like this is how like she's cooking for sure here. But
Yeah, it's been really good. Episode 1 I think was also because a lot of shows they spend kind of episode 1, and a lot of shows we talked about today they spend the first episode like let's introduce the characters and like show the like how the plot's going to stand out, but they really took the first episode of the show kind of just to introduce us to her in a way. I mean, obviously it's her and the other girl had like basically all of the focus, but I liked that we had essentially the whole episode to really like be introduced and get attached to the main character.
yeah, I think it's important because we do have we did get soon introduced in episode 2 to our entire cast basically.
Yeah,
Besides maybe like another character or two, I'm sure we'll meet later. Which we kind of saw at the end of episode 2. We're gonna meet another one, but yeah, I think episode 1 kind of just focusing on her and the concept was definitely the way to go there. I think it's also kind of like an interesting. It's not just like a typical setting. Uh, it's like a very small thing, but like the little island they live on, like that kind of culture, is interesting. Like just as a dynamic. Um,
I think
'cause-
only she lives there, right? Of the characters that we're really
yeah, of the characters that
introduced to.
yeah that were introduced, I think anyway. Well, no, I know because in episode 1, they said she's the only one of her age on that island.
Yeah, you're
Otherwise, it's
right.
just like kids and adults. So I think that's an interesting setting because like in this type of show, you wouldn't expect setting to be very unique, but I think when we like go off on these little, you put her on like a little side island in Japan, it just makes things a little bit more interesting. It's not much, but it's honest work.
It's interesting to me that this random school that had 3 people in that club that we saw is like apparently really good at this this niche activity of dramatic reading
Well,
slash announcing.
their what's it called is just new, like their club in general is new. But even my high school actually had like a pretty similar broadcast room to theirs, and
Well, they
so
also said in episode 1 that they were like a nationals contender or something like that. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know if
Not like a they could
maybe.
have won, but they went type, if I remember right.
I'll
I'd
have
have to
to
rewatch to find that.
rewatch, but at the very least, like it definitely doesn't like hurt my suspense of disbelief that they have a really like tricked out broadcast room because my school had one generally. Like fuck, theirs is probably even better than the one we had.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's mostly that, and maybe I made up slash misunderstood that comment. It's mostly the comment that I thought I remembered seeing of them being like really good. Which, to be fair, if those 3 people are just cracked, that might be all you need anyway.
Yeah, I mean it's not like broadcasting is like a I mean it kind of is a team sport in a sense. Not the reading portion of it, which seems to be like what they're competed in. Because obviously a lot more goes into broadcasting than just like reading. But
Well,
I,
that's what's interesting because episode 2 kind of like starts to show a little bit of that, but obviously our main character is focused on like the recitation, the
yeah,
dramatic
she
reading
didn't even
half
talk
of it.
about broadcast. She just cares about dramatic reading or whatever.
But they do obviously talk a lot about how they have like an announcer slash like actual broadcasting division and everything, which it seems like some of the other characters will be pretty well suited to. I liked
I like the dude she
the randomly
hired.
placed, yeah, the
Her
randomly
selection.
placed dude who is just like, I just really like sound design, and it like
I thought
makes
that was
sense.
definitely like an interesting like, because I mean, realistically, you're gonna have like an insane amount of people into broadcasting. It's interesting to see someone with like a very niche. This is already like a niche, but he has like a niche in a niche, and so I think
Yes,
that's an
exactly.
interesting character to have there and an interest.
But like having done a lot of that stuff um through college, like there was always people like that that were like had their specific niche they were really good at. I mean, I would say in college almost everyone had something. Like I was one of the people on campus that was like pretty well known for video editing, and so a lot of projects would come to me or one of the other couple of editors to do editing work. And there were certain people, a good friend of mine, like really liked doing lighting, which was a much harder thing to find people for.
Yeah,
So almost every major project would talk to him about doing lighting.
yeah. I think it'll be interesting to watch this anime evolve a bit because it does a really good job, like kind of with this side cast. I feel like so far, at least in episode 2, because
I'm just
you
curious how it will evolve, but I'm interested
I see
in
some way.
what it's
So
gonna do.
this is the
Yeah.
same author as Hibike. And I think
Okay.
Hibike actually does a pretty like considering how big
Oh,
like
that's really
a
good to know.
band
I did
class
not.
is. It did a pretty.
Yeah.
Hibike does a generally good job at juggling how many people it works with. But now we have like a more like niche, smaller club, and so I think it'll be interesting to see how the Hibike author, who could already juggle like a multitude of characters, just juggles like a general group.
Is this the Hibiki author?
It is the Hibike author,
I
yes.
see that it's the author who wrote. Okay, it is original story. I see. I
Original
see.
story, yes. She wrote Hibike,
I
yes.
understand now.
That's why it's Yuri Gate.
So
Anyway.
okay,
But
this was confusing because there's the light novel um or the manga adaptation of Hibike is what she linked to. Which I guess there isn't a novel for Hibike. Is it just a
no,
manga?
Hibike is a novel. It's not a light novel, it's just a novel.
It's just not linked to the same thing. I see. I see.
But
That's
it
weird.
seems like I mean she's not the artist out yet. No, she this Mushu seems to be the artist for
Whoosh.
the manga.
What?
I was mostly confused because I didn't see like a light novel link on her.
Maybe this will be a Yuri one day, because I'm looking at the fucking artist's like history, and they have a lot of Yuri anthologies in here.
It's possible.
You see, it's possible, but like, it's like unstoppable object meets immovable force kind of thing, because we have the prolific Yuri baiter of Hibike combined with a Yuri artist. Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
know.
confused on learning that Hibike I don't think has a light novel entry on any list.
Probably because
I think that's
it's
what confused
just a
me.
novel, but so is
Is that
Hyoka.
what
I
it
feel like
is? It's
Hyoka
just a
has
novel
one.
novel.
It's a novel, kind of like Hyoka. Let me see. Well, I mean the Hyoka novels are on here, so I don't know why the Hibike ones wouldn't be. But
Yeah, that's odd. Um, that's what got me all confused because there was obviously credits to the story writer for the manga, but um, the original writer of the novel had like much less credits attached to her. So I was like, well, that must be the adaptation writer. Nope, it's just for some reason not on any list. Anyway, that's a good thing to know. I did not know that.
yeah,
That was the same writer, so
I can kind of see like some of the same, I don't know, tendencies.
I would agree with that though.
Like within episode 2, I think just seeing a lot of the other characters interact, like I kind of have a feel for how some of them might progress a little bit. It's a little bit more subtle, but I think sound design dude has a crush on our main character, and then I mean we got a much less subtle, um, what's it called at the end of the episode for the other homegirl.
Yeah,
Uh, so it'll be
we
interesting to
have
see
our
how
primary ships.
we'll see how that gets weaved in. We say primary ships, but I think most people are gonna ship obviously the two main girls,
The two main girls. Yeah.
and then the toga guy he'll be like the Shunichi from fucking TBK. He won though in the end, so who are we to who are we to
Yeah,
judge?
true.
He did win.
Um, I'm interested to see how the other girl, side character girl, develops too. Because obviously episode 2 kind of like started with what'll be her character arc, I guess.
Yeah. You know what's funny? The for the anime, the Yuri tag was not on here. I feel like the other day, and now it's here. So
And now it is.
it was. I don't.
Because
It's just not on the manga at all. You know, that's just how it goes, I guess. But
because people like to just throw that tag on shit.
it's like the you know the Adventure Time, like the Now Kiss thing, where he's fucking
Yeah.
pushing the duck and the fox. That's like most people on Twitter, like on my timeline.
Shipping. Yeah.
If there are two female characters in the same series, they are shipped, and that's just how it goes.
There are like times that I'm okay with it and times I'm not, but I just don't like random useless shipping. Like through 2 episodes of this, I don't think there's been a meaningful ship from any combination of 2 characters. Other than maybe that sequence at the end with the side character. But even that's like whatever. But like HBK had points where it's like, okay, I can see the ship.
Hibike was like blatant, like this is like textbook Yuri bait type of thing. But
Yeah. Like
I don't know.
HBK stuff with Raida, Kumiko, and everything like that. It's like I get it, but also you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
A lot of people like doing that. Like it's like the My Hero shippers where they like have the most insane shit that is obviously not true, and then it doesn't happen and they get disappointed.
My hero shippers are also like there's a lot that are on the opposite end of Yuri ships, which is funny. I love Baku Deku shippers in My Hero, and I'm like, I don't get it at all.
I mean,
But
not
what
even.
about
I
these
don't know.
two characters?
People just see people being friends and they must ship them, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Like,
I think that's the problem to me, is just that
I
these
think
two
a lot of
characters interact
people,
nicely. They must be in love.
and a lot of people. I mean, I don't know. And it's. I think, it's, like you said, like people just kind of wishful thinking, and they're gonna get disappointed in the end. Like, dude, fucking Medalist has Yuri shippers, dude. I'm like, they're 12. Like, let's relax a little bit. Um, but like, I mean, these characters don't show any like modicum. Like it's just not a point that in the manga at all. Like they interact through skating, not through like you know Yuri love or anything. It's it's exhausting. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, that's
To be
shipping.
fair, I think the same of like all ships generally.
I think it. I don't know, dude. I'm fine with ships if it's like a thing that is like set up like clearly set up in some capacity, or like at least have some level of like chemistry for that specifically.
Not
Like
just
Yeah.
two random characters you want
like
to see
obviously
kissing.
people who are expecting like Deku and Uraraka to get together, like, you know, obviously like that is like something that is constantly happening throughout like the manga. But Baku Deku never had a fucking chance. It's just people being delusional and thinking of like the wanting them to be gay for each other or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That side of things is can get really toxic, so I just don't fuck with I don't know. Every now and then I might have like a thought of like they'd be cute together depending on the series, but I don't understand people who like base their entire personality off of a like fantastical ship that's never gonna happen.
I think my problem with some of it too is it like almost makes a mockery out of like, especially in the conversation of like Yuri ships and like yaoi ship yaoi
Yeah, we
yaoi
Yeah,
yaoi ships, especially in the conversation of those two. It kind of just makes a mockery out of like realistic ships, right? Because we see people constantly posting dumb shit posts about like Baku Deku, and then it's like when you see a realistic yaoi ship, then all of a sudden it just starts to feel a little more ridiculous, because the yaoi ships that you're exposed to are all just like delirious fans being dumb.
yeah, I mean, and then it's like competing shit. Like fucking Hibike was like a breeding ground for like obviously there are the people who ship Kumiko and Reina because Yuri bait, which feels more fair.
Yeah, I
But
think that one's fair.
but then
Yeah.
they have like you know the canon ship, and people like are dude. The amount of hate I see for Shuichi, I'm like, what did he do? He's just here.
Literally, he's just the canon ship.
He's just there.
That's
Like
it.
he hasn't done anything wrong. Like his chemistry with her is fine. Like not maybe not as well developed as other characters that you want to ship, but like he at the end of the day, he's the canon ship, and that's just how it goes. Like you don't have
But
to shit on the
that's where I'm
character for
saying,
other people shipping those characters.
yeah, that's where I'm saying it's ridiculous. Or like people watching Bocchi the Rock and trying to ship members of the band, other than the one that the show just like throws in your face for funsies. Valid when I think about it that way. But like, I don't know.
I mean, I don't
I
ship
just
any of
feel
them.
like
I might like the Yuri art if I do see it, but I
I
don't.
understand people shipping Kita and Rio just because of how the story literally frames it. But
I
even
can
then, I
see
don't agree with that
Bo.
being a ship.
I can see Bochi Kita to an extent, but it's not like a focus the anime's had. Like it's kind of there as a gag for
Yeah, but
right
to
now.
me, like Bocchi Kita is just like a really good friendship, right?
I
I
mean,
don't
right.
I don't see any like
I
real
I I think
romantic.
I think the thing with that is like if we didn't know like Kita was into that, then I don't think as many people would do. I mean, people still would, but it'd probably be less so than
I mean, that's valid. Yeah, I don't know. It just to me feels like there are realistic ships that people can find, but people just also go so crazy with unrealistic ships that it just ends up feeling ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't ship anything, so I can't say anything about this. But yeah, some people are crazy.
I don't
Yeah,
tend
it's
to ship a
definitely
lot, but
not something I think of. I think I thought about it more when I was younger, because when you're young, maybe you think about the things that don't matter as much when you're watching something. But
Yeah.
I just don't like the concept of like trying to ship characters that haven't at least had some sort of romantic hints or progress towards each other.
yeah, I mean anything outside of a romance anime, it's not gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like most anime, if they ever anime, manga, light novel, whatever the fuck, if they have a romantic subplot, it's either getting shelved until like the random epilogue, or it's just not happening. And even like I don't know, like very few will have like an epilogue type of romance. Like maybe you have like Doctor Stone, where it's like, oh, these characters were like set up from chapter one, and boom, okay, there we go. Are you happy? They got together in the final hour, but I don't know.
This is also the thing I hate about shonen shipping is when they just like pair everyone up at the end.
It's like a weird discrepancy between like American and Japanese. I say Japanese media, at least anime. Like American shows will always shoehorn a romance in no matter what, and then anime will be like tease a romance at best, and then like not deliver, not deliver on it. I
I'm
fucking
kind
hate.
of okay with like a romance or two, right?
I'm
Because
fine with
these
a
are
romance.
obviously
I just want it to like if there's gonna be a romantic subplot, I want it to mean something.
yeah, which is true. I just hate it when it's like I think using My Hero as an example, continuing, um, I think My Hero for all of it did like pretty well of just like okay we have Uraraka and Deku as an obvious thing, and then like little hints or potential crushes from a lot of characters, but also it didn't end the series with there being 10 class A couples. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because that's the shit that pisses me off. Because not every like character you see is it's just like statistically makes no sense, right? Every character you see on screen is not going to get with a character that you've seen on screen.
yeah, like platonic
It's
relationships exist.
yeah. And also like people meet people at different points in their lives, right?
Hmm.
If every character from My Hero got romantically involved and eventually married to another character they met in their first year of high school at UA, that doesn't make any sense. But if like one or two of them got together, sure.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch with Hanashira or Flower and Asura, because this, the author, obviously we know in EBK, didn't really shy away from relationships, though they were never really like the focus. So I wonder if we'll get anything.
There's a world where this could actually have some sort of
There's a world where the
real
romantic
subplot.
subplots we already have set up will actually like move forward. I wonder what the manga visuals look like. I think that's
I
something
feel like
I'd
that's
be
kind of
interested to
likely
check
since
out.
they were already in episode 2 are like kind of setting one up.
Yeah, whether or not that'll, I kind of feel like that it might not go. I mean, if it does go anywhere, I don't think it's going to be like end in a couple, just kind of based on. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's difficult. We don't really know the personality of the other two.
What do you mean? Cardboard cutout coon? What's wrong with him?
Dude, you literally could have like I say like the identity plank like test or whatever, but unironically you could have placed plank from identity there, and the episode would not have changed because we didn't really get to meet him much, and he didn't
his
speak much in
character
general.
his character we met was also just like we yanked the most basic character from a first year Japanese high school and threw him into the club.
Yeah, like we have our main character, obviously, who we're attached to. We have the senpais who've been there before and have like pretty distinct personalities for the most part. And then we have sound design guy. Then we have the girl who's like really good at broadcasting
It's also
and
really angry.
really angry. And then we have Blank over there. Hopefully Homeboy gets some more
I hope
some more
Plank like
screen
really
time.
develops into a fun character.
Yeah, maybe we can like cut him into a table or something, make use of the wood. But yeah, I have enjoyed those first 2 episodes so far. Anyway,
I wish I had known. I wouldn't have made a difference, but I wish I had known it was Hibiki author before I started. Because now it makes sense. Because this is kind of something we saw and just randomly on a whim we're like, oh yeah, we're in. And it was really good. And now I'm like, well, of course it was really good.
I should have
By an author.
mentioned it earlier because I've known like since it was announced because that's like one of the drawing points to it for me was it looked decent.
It's an author
And
that you really, yeah.
it's an author that I just awarded Anime of the Year. I mean, so yeah. Yeah, I mentioned it like once to Fami, I think, if like a few days ago, because he's like, "Oh, this looks like Yuri bait," and then I said, "Yeah, it's the Hibike author, so it probably is."
Yeah, but it's like a 50-50 if I see messages like that.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'm around, sometimes I'm not.
I'm just saying it's like the only time I've probably mentioned it outside of my brain. So
It wouldn't have changed anything. It just would have made me more likely to watch it. But I've obviously already watched 2 episodes.
yeah, I'll be excited to see more of that. I'll be excited for 20 days, 10 hours, and 1 minute from now when ReZero comes back. That'll be cool.
Oh wait, there's one show. You guys haven't seen Tasokare Hotel, right?
No.
No, I was gonna leave that one to
Yeah,
you
okay,
then.
it's not good. I didn't like it. So
Oh,
there you go.
okay.
That was like the one
okay.
show I saw episode 1. I'm like, I'm kind of low key tempted to continue watching it, but I don't know. I just didn't like it. It was just like it's like about like I guess like you would call it purgatory, right? Between life and death, and like they're trying to solve the mystery of like why certain people that are in the hotel like died, and I don't know. It just wasn't like it just wasn't that good. I might watch episode 2, but it wasn't good. There you go. That's my review of it. Because I think this was the first seasonal that I watched. I watched it like 2 weeks ago, but we never talked about it. But yeah, I didn't like it. Yep, that was it. That was my review. That was like the only one I think that I've watched that you guys haven't. So, well, disappointing. That's all I'll say.
All right, well, I guess I won't watch that one then.
No,
I
no. It's probably not worth.
I might, not even might. I'm going to at some point. I think once I catch up on my seasonals, which I'm very close to. Before I get back to my backlog of shit from last year, I'm going to catch up on the orb thing, like the historical drama, the heliocentric one or whatever.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay.
People keep gassing this shit up. I'm like, fuck.
I know. I
gotta
wanted to watch
this.
it, but I never got around to it. But I don't know. Yeah, I've heard people going
I am
crazy about it.
unsure of what we're talking about.
Here, it's one of my Copernicus. I'll just link the any list here.
People have been calling it a Poland saga or something like that.
Yeah, because Copernicus was Polish. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, we did talk about this.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
I
Oh,
long
it
think
was
time
the
ago.
from last season. Right.
Yeah, from last
Yeah, yeah.
season. I think I said like I'll think about it because like it's a very unique premise, but then I also like
Yeah.
I didn't really know if I was gonna be super into it. But a lot of people have been gassing this shit up, so I'll definitely watch it.
An average score of an 81.
81's pretty good, especially considering
That's what I'm saying. That's quite
I
good.
think the production quality is supposed to be like
By Madhouse.
not insane, but like decent enough. So like 81 with decent production is like that's basically a 90 in my book. So.
Yeah, I mean Madhouse is pretty good. So interesting.
Yeah, maybe next week you'll have a report on Poland Saga.
Hopefully next week you'll have a report on the Apothecary Diaries from me. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
you're like
work
a
in the
very
morning, so
introductory
no
stage.
more tonight.
Yeah, maybe next week.
Perhaps some tomorrow.
Maybe next week I'll have some more hate for the momentary Lily and the girl in my class. I hate getting married, whatever the fuck that one.
I also still need to watch Momentary Lily, but
I don't know if you need to watch it.
yeah, it's definitely on the chopping block.
Look, I like to joke about Gohan cinema. you you don't need to watch this one. You don't need to watch Momentary Love. You just gotta look at the average score, and that's basically all you need to know.
55. All right, never mind. Yeah, that can get 55's crazy.
Yeah.
Early season average scores are sometimes kind of hard to like
I mean,
navigate though.
you can't trust every score, but this
55's pretty bad. Yeah.
one's not too far off the mark. I think part of it is just one that it's not very good to begin with. Episode 1 was not very inspiring, and then also it's Gohan's, so obviously people are gonna not. I don't know. People do not like Gohan's cinema, so that's where that is. But yeah, I think there's something else Gohan's doing that I was interested in. No, okay, never mind. It's just this.
I still need to watch the first 2 episodes of the Serario utility show.
I haven't really heard anything about it. I
Hopefully.
think I heard people just like generally liked it, so that'll be.
I think that's about what I've heard. I mean, it's the one the like OVA 15-minute little episode it had
Yeah, I mean, it's probably just gonna be
was
like 12 episodes of whatever you got from that.
yeah. It was good, but there wasn't really any like plot or story for them to go off of very much to start with this other than the 3 girls for golfing are all like generally the same or like just not the sentence I was about to say at all. They're generally all different like levels of experience, right?
Right,
So it's I assume they're going to start the show from like the newest one starting to play golf, right?
right,
That's the most logical start point. But then it becomes, is this going to be more like cute girls just playing golf? Are they going to go into some sort of plot line? I don't know yet. I don't know what's better per se. Part of the thing that made the OVA so nice was that it was just 15 minutes of like cute girls playing golf with no like stress or anything.
yeah. All right. That'll probably be the end of this episode. We've made it through all the shows that we have on the list currently. I don't foresee myself adding anymore. I don't think, besides Poland, but who knows? Maybe I'll see someone gassing something up, and I'll can potentially check it out.
I think
Since
the only thing we haven't talked about that I might add is still that like crush at work thing, but it's
Oh
also
yeah.
incredibly difficult to find. So,
yeah, it
well,
doesn't
not
have. It's not
difficult, but
officially
annoying to
licensed
find.
by anyone. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought about Zenshu, but apparently it was a hidden isekai. So fuck that. I don't feel like watching
Is
that.
it an isekai?
Yeah.
I've seen a few people drop it, so
Like, it's interesting that they made that, like, I don't know, they did not market the show as an isekai, and then, like, it gets to the first episode, and it's like, boom, the animator gets transported into the anime that inspired her to be an animator. It's like, oh, okay.
didn't we talk about that when we were shopping? That it was like,
I think I had seen something about it, like, potentially being, like, just an isekai in disguise, but we didn't, like, talk much about
yeah,
it.
like we
Uh,
didn't know, but I feel like there was something that came up when we were shopping that was like isekai hints, essentially.
yeah, I
We
think it was
didn't
a
catch
Yeah.
on per se.
trailer, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I think I have it on my watching, but I decided against it. Wait, are you talking about Zenshu or
Yeah,
something?
Yes.
Zenshu, yeah.
Yeah.
The Mappa one.
I think I put it as my playing, but I don't know. I just never got around
I mean, I
to it.
saw a well animated clip from the first episode, but I'm like, I don't know, dude. I'm not gonna be like, oh, Mappa anime, yay, let me go watch that. I'm like, oh, Mappa anime, it might be ass. Honestly, like, I'm trying to think of, does Mappa, they kind of like mix in like really good stuff with a lot of mid. They have like a lot of misses, to be honest.
Yes.
And then they have like other things. I don't know. Vinland was kind of like they stumbled onto greatness because I have fucking Wit Studio just dumped off all their shit onto them, I guess. Same with Attack on Titan. I'd say like Chainsaw Man is like the only thing where I'm like, I mean, I guess Attack on Titan before the end, but that's not their fault, I guess. I don't know. They're an interesting studio. But
The lowest rated thing so far.
lowest rated for them or for
This season. I'm
this
just
season?
curious.
Okay. Probably momentary. I wouldn't be surprised momentarily. That or it's like some random ass isekai. But
Uh, random show Pharmakia. Not necessarily surprising. Yeah, Momentary Lily is bottom 5.
yeah, the very bottom. I gotta find one that actually has a fucking score. Some of these haven't started.
It's the Aquarian that's the bottom of scores.
Okay, yeah, that's at 50%, but I can just tell looking at that fucking. It's even like what the fuck is this? I'm trying to look at the open the image. Yeah, I could have told you this is gonna have like a 50% just based looking at the visual on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's full CGI as well. I'm just not even gonna count that because obviously people aren't gonna treat that as well. So we'll go to
Yeah,
this
there's the
vampire one.
Bon
I think we talked about
Bon.
this. Oh, what the fuck? We definitely didn't talk about
The
this. I would have
fuck
remembered
is
this.
this? Hello?
When 15-year-old Rihito falls in love, an ancient vampire who craves 18-year-old virgin blood must
I'm
protect the
out.
teen's
I'm
virginity at
out.
all costs. This is an
Excuse
I'm
me?
insane.
out. This is
How did we miss this?
Excuse me?
I probably saw vampire romance and like just I skipped over it, but this is an insane premise. What the fuck?
That's crazy.
That's extremely crazy. Yeah, the manga score is not too hot, but it's been releasing for fucking 3 years or 4 years. Well, not quite 4 years, like three plus.
Yeah, there's nothing down here that's too surprising.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm a little
insane.
surprised that the stupid Ninja Neat show is rated low, but I'm not because it's certainly not good. I'm just surprised that the Goomers haven't bumped the ratings up.
You
I
know,
don't know. I
just
feel like
everything
yeah, a lot of
down
that shit's
here seems
low.
pretty worth being down. I mean, it's like literally all
Yeah, I
like
agree.
isekais for the most part, and then Survival Utility being that low is a little surprising, but I don't feel. I mean, it's early, and I don't know. You can't trust ratings, but
Yeah, I think 63 for Terraria Utility right now makes sense if it's just like 2 episodes of girls playing golf, which is already not a super popular sport.
yeah, I mean, fucking Flower and Oscar is only 71%. People watching with their blinders on. I guess I don't know.
I think anything sitting in that 70 range though is still like people are either not giving it a chance or they haven't like made decisions on it yet. Right?
Yeah, I feel like by the end of the season, some of these are gonna bump up a fair bit.
Because I mean, if you can also look at it as Flower and Ashura is only a 71, but it's also the 12th highest rated show right now.
Yes,
And of
it
shows that
bothers
aren't
me that
continuing,
the one above it bothers me considerably, but that's not that's not the point.
yeah, but I don't even know what this is. So,
It's like a Japanese businessman gets reincarnated as a villainous.
oh, it's that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah.
The way I look at this for like Flower and Ashura is it is the fourth
You know,
highest rated
considering
non-continuing show.
considering the what's it called, the premise, it's probably doing pretty good at 71%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because Tomozaki had a similar thing going on with when it's season one. It had like a 6 something, and then I think it limped up into like the low sevens,
Yeah,
like by the end of the season. So
I remember that.
I think once all the people bow out, and then we get the true cultured individuals who
Once
understand.
once the noobs are filtered, yeah.
Yeah, once you get
There's
filtered
also all the
by
people that don't
the boring ass
like put
Bibles.
ratings. Yeah, all the people who don't put ratings until they finish stuff too.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like much different. It's fairly higher on my enemy list. It's a 7.44. But I guess
Yeah.
things are probably just generally higher on my enemy list. I'm gonna let me filter or sort by score.
I think this early season, it's like all of the continuing stuff is going to be boosted by the fact that people are rating it based on what they've already watched, right? And all the new stuff's going to start out kind of around like the middle of the pack for ratings, and it'll either go up or not go up based on the quality.
Yeah, the any list is definitely a lot harsher. On my enemy list, the bottom list is honestly like pretty similar. Farmagia's at the very bottom at a 5.71. And then it's the Promise of Wizard. I don't remember where that is at the bottom there, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty down there. And then the CG one we saw, and then Momentary Lily is the last like in the fives, so it doesn't particularly surprise me. Um, yeah. Wait, now we'll really end the episode. Truly. All right.
All right.
If you enjoyed this episode, remember to like, comment, subscribe, rate 5 stars, whatever platform you're on. If you're on the audio only side of things, and you go to the YouTube, then is the Order an Anime Podcast. We are the only ones. If you'd like to go to the audio only from YouTube to audio only, then same thing. It's Order an Anime Podcast. Can't possibly miss us. Every Saturday, 3 p.m. EST, without fail, except for when we do, there will be a new episode out for you to enjoy. So, once again, thank you for listening, and we hope to see you in another episode. Thank you, and goodbye.